I think it's time that we start talking about a divorce.
I think we should get a divorce.
Like a real divorce?
I want a divorce.
Hey guys, I'm Flame, and together with Orksenson, I'll be bringing you today the news on cooldown, everything related to Blizzard and Activision Blizzard, for however long that will last. Take it away, buddy. Thanks, Flame. Some people say I have the same voice as Flame. Some people would say we are one and the same, and to those people, I say,
Why so serious?
but enough about me. The PTR for 8.1.5 is live this week, and we get hands-on on the new allied races, the cool Tyrant humans and the Zandalari trolls. Being one of the main advertised features of this expansion, their arrival was long in the waiting. Although they're in the initial phase of the beta, this feature should breathe a bit of life into the game. You can check the PTR and its state right now. We will cover more of the new allied races and changes next week, so stay tuned and subscribe to our channel, Marcelian&Flame. Moving on to more pressing matters. Mike Morhaime announced he will be leaving Blizzard entirely on April the 7th, 2019. Take it away, Flame. Thanks, Orc. Earlier this year, Mike essentially announced that he will be stepping down as President and CEO of Blizzard Entertainment. In its place, J. Allen Brack is supposed and has since taken over his duty as president, but not CEO. Mike Morhaime was essentially the advisor for Blizzard Entertainment until the foreseeable future. Nothing was announced more than this. Essentially, Mike wanted to stay in the company, or at least that's what we thought. Now, we all know the public scandal that followed in the next couple of months, and Mike essentially announced that he will be stepping down as advisor and leaving the company entirely. Now, if this was planned initially by Mike, and he had the intention of leaving Blizzard altogether and just use the advisory position to kind of smooth that transition, I don't know. It kind of makes me believe that that's exactly the case, but who knows? I mean, nobody knows. This is not going to be public. But if this was not the case and Mike essentially was compelled to leave Blizzard, this is even a sadder situation. We all know Blizzard suffered multiple public scandals, more recently one with a previous employee that worked, I believe, in the Hearthstone esports entertainment division, Jules Murillo Queller. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, buddy. I am unfamiliar with its pronunciation. But essentially, this guy mentioned that he suffered multiple abuses in terms of racism, in terms of discrimination, basically, during his stay in the esports Hearthstone team. There are a couple of articles that go into more details. He essentially made a public post about this. He left the company since he had helped multiple times during this incident, and he felt like Blizzard let him down. This is not to say that he didn't enjoy working for Blizzard. Overall, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Jules essentially had fun working for Blizzard, at least for the majority of the time, until he switched to the Hearthstone esports department. And apparently, allegedly, the only reason he came out with this publicly is because Blizzard announced that Soldier 76 is into dudes. And apparently this spread a message that Blizzard is inclusive, is liberal, forward-thinking, progressive, however way you want to think about it. And Jules kind of thought that this was kind of bullshit and hypocritical. And if what he says is true, that kind of rings home. But then again, this all happens in kind of a niche department, and Blizzard as a company cannot pay attention to every individual, which is not necessarily an excuse, but essentially this doesn't mean that Blizzard as a company is propagating discrimination or racism or any form of oppression towards their employees. And these are kind of strong words. I don't want to get too much into it. If you want, you can check his statement online. I'll link it in the description down below. There are multiple people who cover this as well. Now, in the aftermath of this, Blizzard has started the year with two CFOs leaving. Well, one is Amrita Ahuja leaving from Blizzard Entertainment, the other one being Spencer Newman leaving from Activision Blizzard. Again, Activision losing more and more people from under its wing. As we all know, Activision is a game publisher, and as game designers, we have Blizzard, and of course, there's Bungie. We interrupt this program to bring you a message from our sponsors. Are you struggling to meet your deadlines? Do you feel restricted when designing games?
No microtransactions!
A lot of companies that start out as game designers have found it increasingly difficult to operate in today's market. As a result, most of them had established contracts and partnerships with publishing companies that can support the marketing aspect of their enterprise. But we all know that publishers have no soul and should be surgically removed from gaming altogether. But this is not fairyland, and there are no surgeons that can help you. You could hope that they get so sick they will have to cut you out and you can be free. Or be a man and divorce. Today, one after the other, companies have found it in their interest to leave corporate greed behind and nurture their soul with creativity and community positive feedback. Join the bandwagon, divorce your publisher, and be once again a positive contribution to humanity. Join today the Divorce That Shit program, and you too can find creative freedom. Thank you, random people with no knowledge of marketing and game design. We always appreciate your opinions. Now back to our regular schedule. Now, for those of you who don't know who Bungie is or what Bungie is, it's basically game designers that are mostly known for Halo and Destiny. They've essentially designed futuristic shooters and went into designing Destiny a couple of years back. Although people were excited about the actual game itself, knowing that Activision will be the publisher and Activision kind of inserting its fingers into different type of projects and messing them up kind of left some speculations about how this game will turn out. And I have to personally admit, Destiny and Destiny 2 were one of the few games that I enjoy gunplay. I'm not big on FPS, I'm not big on shooters altogether, but the gunplay in Destiny and Destiny 2 has probably been one of the best gunplays I've experienced in multiple games. It's very hard even Overwatch to compare to it. I think Destiny has better gunplay than Overwatch. I said it, oh, don't kill me. So Destiny was released, and of course it was plagued by a bad monetization system because Activision. Essentially, you would have to buy the game and of course buy subsequent expansions every time that they were released, which is maybe not a bad business practice, but again, we're saying this in 2019 when we know that bad marketing systems can go even further. And after that, we had Destiny 2 with a bigger inclusion of microtransactions where you could actually buy things that would give you strength in game, which wasn't actually present in Destiny 1. In Destiny 1, you could only buy cosmetics, but in Destiny 2, this took another step forward. And of course, players didn't like this. Bungie thought it would redeem itself with the Forsaken expansion, which maybe to some extent improved the game by a lot. I haven't actually played the Forsaken, I only played Destiny 2 version of the game. And it's overall received as a better addition to the game, but again, wasn't enough to save the franchise, or maybe wasn't enough to revitalize to a point where Activision might have deemed it as worthy to keep, because Bungie and Activision are separating from each other. Bungie did indeed leave Activision, and it also retained its license over Destiny, so Bungie will continue supporting and hopefully producing more expansions or content or even more Destiny games, hopefully without the influence of Activision. I'm not sure how this will affect the Battle.net client, considering that we have Destiny in our client, but the following months will tell. There's also an official statement from the Bungie developers telling people about this change, and you can actually see multiple tweets on the internet. We all know there was a little bit of a tension between Bungie and Activision, and there's always tension between game designers and publishers when they don't necessarily see eye to eye. This is not something new. This is not something present in the gaming industry alone. We see this in other creative environments like movies, comic books, and everything like this, where the artist itself feels compelled by the company that publishes its work or his work or her work to essentially adhere to their requirements, so to say. Moving on, we knew that there was a bit of a tension. I'm not sure if this departure came from Bungie's side. I'm not sure if it came from Activision's sides or from both sides. Hardly from both sides. It's no surprise that Bungie wanted to leave Activision, and considering that Destiny 2 wasn't an outstanding game in terms of sales, it's very likely that Activision wanted to cut the plug away with Bungie as well, maybe seeing them as a liability. With this being said, the developers essentially posted out tweets telling about this change, and I cannot help but feel that they were wishing for this for a very long time. And you can consider what you want, just check the tweets out and read it for yourself. Moving forward, what does this mean for us Blizzard fans? Well, if Bungie was able to leave Activision, if Activision lost its CFO as well, there's already a trend here that we can see. Activision is steadily either losing its grip on its people or essentially cutting down people, departments, companies, partnerships, anything that might set them back financially. And we can only hope that this happens to Blizzard. Really, this is probably the first bit of good news that we've heard this year, and it's not affecting us directly. It's not a direct good news yet. It's good for Bungie, and it's good for Bungie fans, and I'm glad, and I really hope from a creative perspective that they have more freedom in this sense, that they can develop the games that they want without feeling constrained by a publisher. And I can only hope that this will translate into Blizzard as well. Hopefully in the future, later this year, in a few years to come, I'm not sure how long this will take. I sincerely hope that this happens, that Blizzard will separate itself from Activision entirely, although this is very hard to speculate and to hope for, because well, the company's name is Activision Blizzard, with its subsidiary Blizzard Entertainment that's actually developing the games themselves. So we don't know yet, we will have to see. But what do you guys think? Are you also secretly hoping that Blizzard is leaving Activision? Come on, I know you are. We all are. One quick note to make. I understand that Blizzard has a different position within Activision as opposed to Bungie, but the initial merger happened between Vivendi and Activision, and although I am not 100% sure how this translates into their current contract, the initial contract happened between Activision and Vivendi, with Blizzard being a part of Vivendi. So, depending on the structure of their contract, Blizzard could still detach itself from Activision Blizzard. But that's fine, it's good to speculate, it's good to put out a positive idea into the universe. Hopefully it will materialize into something that will affect us directly. We'll just have to see. Patches 8.2 is already looking better than 8.1, which was looking better than 8.0. The game is still not in a state, and I'm talking about WoW here, the game is still not in a state where we could actually call it a fantastic game, but it's steadily getting better and better. Of course, there are other Blizzard games that have suffered in the past couple of months, like Heroes of the Storm. Overwatch, of course, that's no surprise, and recently there have been surveys giving out about Hearthstone. Blizzard essentially asking if players really wanted the Hearthstone esports scene or something to this extent, and you can check those out as well. But please let us know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the section down below, like and subscribe to our video if you enjoyed this type of content, and if you want to see my mug even more, then let me know. Until next time guys, I've been Flame, and I wish you a fantastic weekend. Peace.